Can the Kings put an end? And possibly, I mean, that's what's at line here for the Warriors. I don't know if this completely ends the Warriors as we know it, but there's a chance of it with some decisions they have to make, and that would be a stunning development if the Kings got through the Golden State Warriors.
Jay, you're wrestly. Isn't there a isn't there a match called like the Vault or something? Isn't there a type of wrestling match, something with a vault?
No.
I swear I've heard something wrestly. Anyways, here's where I'm going. This is also a battle of the banks. This is Golden One.
I think you're thinking of the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
Maybe. I thought there was something involved, but whatever.
No, the Money in the Bank match.
We got to figure out a way to work that in. Chase, the national conglomerate, big giant corporation versus Golden One, your local credit union.
Yeah, just trying to do right by the community.
Hell in a cell.
Well, speaking of money, Dave, we've used that term house money, and I feel like now I probably won't even use that phrase again until if the Kings were to lose, because then it's like, all right, look, it still was a great season, still can be a great season, but right now when you're in it and you're the 3 seed and you got home court advantage, it's about trying to win this thing.
This is also, I think, so Kings fans can really identify with this. Not that they couldn't already. This is what we call the Seattle syndrome. Whereas for the first few years after the team didn't move, it was, well, they could be in Seattle. And then after Golden One Center was built, the first 3 years after that, I was like, yeah, but we have this arena. And that's all true. And now we're in this situation where it's kind of the same thought process you give yourself. Here's the thing. House money can eat one. Like I now we're in the playoffs and I want to win a championship. I want a ring and a parade, and I want all of that. And until the clock hits 000 and we're out, the goal is the playoffs. And if and when we don't win a championship this year, I'm going to be devastated for a few. I mean, it's going to hurt. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure, and again, Jason, we don't know, like, if it's, game 7 and we get screwed by the refs, if it's a, God forbid, injury, there's levels to this. But the next day, maybe the day after, I know that I'm going to be like, hey, listen, what a great first start. Let's be proud of this team. Let's be proud of the guys. And now it's on to next year. But until then, no, dude, title time.
Yeah, because I also think, I believe a lot of Kings fans think this is the start of something, as opposed to, hey, this is the only window, it's 1 year. And look, nothing is promised. Things could change. Injuries could happen in future years where it's like, man, that turned out to be the best year they were going to have in the next 5 years. We don't know that, but based on age, based on contracts, based on the culture they've established here pretty quickly, it sure feels to me like this is just the beginning, while the Warriors have been in it for a while and are still trying to hang on to what has been an incredible run. So it feels like you have two different organizations in two different timelines, but they're still at the peak of it, and the Kings are trying to enter that and disrupt there. So it's an interesting spot, but Dave, the Warriors are going to come in as favorites, and people are going to think, they're talking about a title run as opposed to can they beat the Kings? Like, they're looking for big fish here for the Warriors.
I hope they keep doing that. I hope they absolutely do. I hope they look ahead. I hope they're focused on a title, and I hope that they are happy that they got the Kings. Now, listen, the Kings have to take care of business, but they didn't just slip and fall into the record they have. We can all make a narrative for the Warriors. They had the issues in the beginning, Draymond Green not being able to get up for regular season games. The old story of the dynasty really put it into gear come playoffs, the return of Wiggins, whatever you want. There's a great logical narrative here for the Warriors to go on yet another run. But the Kings they're not lucky to be here. They inch their way in. They have the best road record in the West. I believe the second best, third best in the NBA. There's a reason for this. And you're also, if you think about it, Jason, the Sacramento Kings have one of the best road records in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors have probably a record-setting disparity between home and away. One of those things is going to break here, and I'll trust the team that's been doing it for 82. Hopefully this team is just, and you know what I mean when I say this, hopefully the Kings are just too young and dumb and inexperienced to care about the big lights, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think to enter the playoffs for the first time in this long, to play the most experienced team, to again, we're talking about bulletin board material. We talked to Kevin Herter about that. I don't know that they need any extra motivation, but I think that's what a lot of the national shows are going to do. Are the Suns or the Warriors the favorite to come out of the West? And if I'm Memphis, if I'm Denver, if I'm Sacramento, I'm going, wait a minute. All three of us had a better record than those two teams, but the Suns are 8-0 with Kevin Durant, and they're so scary, and they should be scary, and the Warriors won the most recent title, and they did it last year when they maybe weren't playing their best going in, and they found their way through. I like all those things being thrown out there as other obstacles for this Kings team that seemingly all year long has responded to just about every challenge.
I think if you were to talk to most people, I think most people would say Phoenix, Golden State, Boston, and Milwaukee, not necessarily in that order. Those are your most likely opponents in the finals. Would you agree? I mean,
I would agree.
Okay. It's almost certainly not going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
And all you got to do is go back to last year. Did anyone have Dallas beating Phoenix? Did they have Dallas blowing out Phoenix on their home floor in a deciding game? That's not the way it almost always works. Lil Brother 45 on our YouTube chat, and thanks to everybody for joining us on YouTube, says, well, if you listen to the Bay Area radio stations, they're always talking about the second round. They're already talking about the second round. They're totally overlooking the Kings. I'm sure the team is doing the same. Now, Jason, I'm fine with us believing that, and I'm fine with us getting into our heads that way. But here's the reality, and I think you'll agree. I guarantee you Steve Kerr is going to spend the entire week saying, if you overlook Mike Brown and the Kings, this is going to be a very quick series. I don't even want to think. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want anyone to even sniff anything after this series. I want to hear about finals and second round. This is a good team. They're there for a reason. And if we take them just an inch too lightly, we're going to get swept. I guarantee you he's saying that.
That's where I would say the Warriors' experience and drawing in from that shouldn't. I can't even imagine the players, the fans and radio hosts say that. That's fine. But the Warriors know this journey is difficult. And I think in every series along the way, and this is where sometimes it can be misleading. Let's say the Warriors in the past won a series 4-1. That sounds convincing. But then when you're living in the series and in the moment, how close were some of those games? Were 3 of them won in the last 2 minutes? Was there a key leverage point? Hey, maybe the series is 1-1, and if a bounce goes one way here or there, you're down 2-1 and it's different. But maybe that team gets the bounce and they're up 2-1, and then they eventually kind of find ways to win. I think these series have so many twists and turns. Game 1 generally is all right, here's how we plan to attack the series. Here's how this team plans to attack the series. How off were they on their assessment? And then game 2 is the adjustment. And then from 3, if there's all the way through 7, it's our best versus your best. And that's kind of how these things go. And then it's, the fortune. Does someone get hurt? Is there a foul issue? They move on so many fragile elements that, I'm sure at some point we'll all make our predictions, but it's so tough to capture this because of how things can change so quickly in a series.
I know we got a break here quick. Let me ask you this, top of your head. Who, when it comes to the playoffs, is Kings fans' most hated opponent, individual player, would you say?
Like currently?
No, I'm saying like go back to 2000, go back in the history of the Sacramento Kings. Is there an opponent that when that opponent's name is spoken, just...
Oh, yeah. Lakers and Robert Horry.
Okay. And all Robert Horry did was hit that crazy game winner. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You could say Shaq. You could say Kobe.
Right.
Shaq was. I will predict this. Kings fans will never have hated a player more than they will hate Draymond Green.
Mm.
Draymond Green is about to go to number 1 when it comes to, again, Horry made the shot. You hated the moment. You didn't necessarily hate him. They're going to sports hate, just despise Draymond Green because he's kicking somebody in the junk.
And it's likely Sabonis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, well, again, we've got so much more to discuss about this series, about this weekend. Game 1, Saturday, 5:30, national TV, ABC. All games can be heard here on Sactown Sports. When we come back, David and I will discuss really the way the teams finish the regular season. Does it matter? Because the Warriors are going in hot. The Kings, not so much over the last couple of games. We've got that and more coming up on Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.